Hey guys, this is Sandy again. Your Orlando Realtor. I'm a licensed realtor here in Orlando. I cover all the Central Florida area. Today I'd like to do a video on, what's my video on today? My video is on today, vacation homes for Disney World. So I'm doing a video today on vacation homes near Disney World. If you're looking to invest in a vacation home, a home that you could go back and forth with. So when you're in the Disney World area, you could be in the home. That's a vacation home. Most people for their vacation home, they also rent it out to different guests when they're not here. Some people buy in resort areas. Some people buy in just a regular home in a regular development outside of a luxury development. Luxury developments are like Margaritaville, The Groove, and all these other property that gives you an experience. So with that experience, it means it's gonna come with a golf course. It's gonna come with a lot of different pools, lazy rivers, a water park, and all these different things. It's a whole experience. Some people love to buy vacation homes like that. Other people will go to a gated community and they'll buy like a single family home, or they may buy a townhome or a condo. A lot of that has to do with your budget and what kind of experience that you're looking to have. Here in Central Florida, it is very important to find out if the property is zoned for short-term rental before you buy. Most people, when they purchase a vacation home, they would like the opportunity to rent it out to other tourists or other guests when they're not using the property. So if you bought the property and you're like, okay, we're normally here for 2 months out of the year, we want to rent the property for the rest of the time that we're not here. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is people might bring all their family members together. So you may have 3 to 4 different family members coming together and purchase the home here, and then they alternate times when they use it. And even so, at some point in time, they also want to be able to rent it. So one of the first tip I'll give you is, if you're going to buy a vacation home in the Disney World area, make sure that that wherever you're buying, the development you're buying in, is zoned for short-term rental. Not every development around there is zoned. Some people think that way, but not all the properties around the Disney World area is zoned for short-term rental. It's very important for you to find that out. Now that Airbnb is getting bigger and bigger, there's a lot of more restrictions going on because of sometimes the guests abuse the power and the homeowners abuse the power. So I'm so sorry. There's a lot of restrictions. So you want to make sure wherever you're going to buy is zoned for short-term rental. For a luxury resort, let's say you're going to buy in a resort, you want a vacation home in a resort area, most of the time they'll also have a rental pool. And what that means is you could purchase the property and put it back in their rental pool and they'll rent it out to guests. A lot of these luxury resorts are built like hotels, right? So you're really buying a condo from them. So they have different, it's almost like it's an hotel room, but it's a condo. So you have a 2 bedroom, a 3 bedroom, you choose which one you're going to purchase. When you purchase it from them, it goes in their rental pool if you decide to do that. And if it's in their rental pool, there's going to be some restrictions. There's going to be limited time to when you could access the property, because they want the property to be available to tourists in the higher seasons. That would be Christmas, Easter, spring break, that kind of thing. You can also buy in a gated community, like you could buy a pool home in a gated community, and you could get your own property management company to manage it. Nowadays, there's so much technology going on in the short-term rental market that you could literally manage a lot of these properties by yourself. The only thing you would probably need is you would need a ground person. So you need someone here that when your guests check in, if there's a problem, let's say the toilet overflow or something is wrong, there's a leak or something, then you have somebody here to fix it. There are also other companies out there that will market the property for you. They won't do the on-site work. So that means when the guest checks in, they are not going to do the work of if the guests have a complaint while they're at the property, but they will market the property for you and get your reservation. So it all depends on where you want to go with that. A lot of time people use vacation homes. They purchase the vacation homes and they rent it back because they want the home to pay for itself. So if you bought a vacation home here and you're only here 2 to 3 months out of the year, the rest of the time you're like, let me rent it out to guests. That way it will cover its own costs, right? Utilities, possibly mortgage, whatever that situation is. So it depends upon what your purpose is in buying this home. But most vacation home owners that I know do rent it back as short-term rental. And if you're going to do that, it's very important for you to know if the property is zoned that way. If you purchase in a luxury resort, then you don't need to worry about that, because The luxury resorts are only going to build in areas where they could do short-term rentals. And some of these luxury resorts they design it to give you a whole experience. So that's why they have all the amenities. Now there are communities, gated communities and non-gated communities that do offer amenities even though they're not part of a resort, which means you could buy a single family home or a townhome in a regular development that also offers pools and golfing and tennis and all that stuff, because some of these developments have very extensive amenities in their clubhouses. So you have clubhouses with a splash pad, a play area, pool, hot tub. It's close to a golf course. Maybe it's in a golf course community, and the owner and you decide to join that the golfing membership, and you offer that to your guests. That's also an experience. So there's so many different things to do, and the area is so vast. And a lot of times when people think of Disney World, they think of Orlando. And Disney World is really in Lake Buena Vista, which is closer to Kissimmee. And sometimes you mention Kissimmee and people are like, what's Kissimmee? Kissimmee is actually closer to Disney World than Orlando is. And people don't know that. Orlando is the airport that you fly into, but Disney World itself is actually in Lake Buena Vista / the Kissimmee area. Now, Universal Studios, that's in Orlando. SeaWorld is in Orlando. They're definitely in Orlando. That's the difference. But you kind of learn that while you're here. And there are a lot of surrounding areas around Disney World that you've never heard of. Like people have never heard of Claremont or Davenport or Champions Gate. A lot of people have heard of Celebration, but the thing is, most of Celebrations is not zoned for vacation rental. Celebration, most of the homes are zoned for long-term living, right? So we could buy a vacation home there, but you cannot rent it out. So you go there when you decide to go there, but you cannot rent it back to guests. It's not zoned for short-term rental. So also, if you just want to purchase a vacation home and only have it for you and your family, then it doesn't matter where you purchase because you're not renting it out anyway. So it doesn't matter if it's zoned for short-term rental or not. But if you decide to rent it back to help you to pay for it, if that's the situation you're in, then you want to make sure you're purchasing in an area zoned for short-term rental. Thank you so much for listening. Again, my name is Sandy Sills. I can be reached at 407-791-4713. I have a bunch of links below that you could click on to get more information. Send me an email, send me a text, or go on my website and you will be able to see a lot of properties zoned for short-term rental, or you might find your dream vacation home there. Thanks so much for listening, guys. See you in the next video.